Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Is everybody good? I didn't see anything. Everybody good? Yes, yay. Awesome. We got the Steve and Carlo show going today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I decided it was time to change up the theme song a little bit.
Love it. Love it. So we always start our day with a fun video. Why don't we cue that up real quick?
All right. Mindy says, in the time I've spent trying to find an Instagram filter that best disguises my weight gain, I could have completed a workout. Restolable, I believe? I thought we had something. You met my family, made me dinner, called me honey. Now suddenly you're a waitress who's doing her job? Sean says, what do we want? Now. When do we want it? Better hearing aids. Nathan says, when God made raccoons, he was like, do you want to be an old-timey burglar or a trash digger? Too slow, you're both now. Amber says, I would rather break off 3 of my fingers carrying all the groceries into my house at once instead of making 2 trips to the car. That's right, Amber. We're all with you. Matt says, I'm posing nude for an art class. No one asked me to. I think they're making ceramic bowls. If you want to follow any of those people on Twitter, go to my website and find out how.
Really funny stuff. Some people are so clever. So we have an action-packed day today. Let me just mention that real quick. One thing that, well, we'll get to it in a minute, but at 11 o'clock, we have Debbie Orr's Command User Group. That group is growing every week. So please, if you want to learn something new and exciting on Command, 11 o'clock today. Noon, what to expect when you're inspecting by Tiger Inspections. That is not in our Zoom room, guys. If you go on to the Zoom training calendar, there's a link. And Adonis sent out an email yesterday. If you guys didn't get it, we'll send it out again today. But you have to register for that class with Tiger to be on that. But that should be a real good class. And then Tiger Inspection is going to be in our Zoom room next week. And then at 1 o'clock, Dan Raposo will be teaching listing lead sources. He's got some great ideas for you guys as we build our listings taken. And then there's DocuSign hours by appointment, and there is no 4:30 call today. Do we have a mortgage minute? Anybody? Westport Mortgage? Anybody here? Bill? I don't know. Bill was trying. We may have lost him.
Okay.
Hey, Bill. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Wasn't planning it, but I had something from yesterday. So we hadn't mentioned in a while, the government rates are incredibly low. FHA yesterday was 2.625 and VA was 2.75. And
wow.
Interesting because Kimberly mentioned CHFA, and CHFA rates are actually higher than our rates. So unless you have somebody who needs that down payment assistance program, you do not want to look at CHFA with higher closing costs and higher rates. Will be a much better option. So,
wow.
Okay.
Great stuff, Bill. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So our agent spotlight today, guys, we are excited to bring you Mr. Rudy Marciano. Rudy, why don't you unmute yourself, bud?
Morning.
Hey, Rudy.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So I know you've got some exciting stuff going on, and Carlos has a bunch of questions for you.
Yeah. So Rudy, tell us a little bit about you so we could understand where you come from and where you're at, what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people, real estate was not my first profession. It's actually my second. I spent probably about 17 years in broker-dealers, investment banks, reinsurance companies, in various finance and regulatory reporting functions. for maybe half of that time, I had my license. So I would, family, friends, the occasional person that would find my very simple website, and I would just use it for pocket money here and there. I always enjoyed it. And I, in the back of my head, I kind of always said, this is what I'm going to do one day, the famous one day. And then fast forward to when my family bought our house in Richfield and started growing our family. My daughter came first, and then my son. And it was right around, she was 3 and he probably wasn't even a year old yet. I was commuting to Midtown at JP Morgan. And when I tell you I never saw them awake during the week, that's no exaggeration. It was between the commute and the banking lifestyle. It's just not super family friendly, if you will. And that, honestly, that sucked. I didn't like that at all. So I remember very vividly sitting down with my wife one night on the couch. It was like 10:30 at night. I had just finished dinner, and I was like, something has to change here. And she actually said, well, why don't you do the real estate thing full time? And I was hesitant to kind of leave the consistency of the biweekly salary in particular, especially with a young family at home. But it didn't take long. It was only a couple more weeks, maybe a month of more conversation where, I walked in one day and I was like, I quit. I spent a couple of months transitioning my role to somebody else. But I left that, and I had been with a broker at a very small firm in Costco, and she was an absolute sweetheart. And then hooked up with Steve about a year ago, and here I am talking to you on Zoom.
That's awesome. And how has your business changed since joining KW?
Well, I honestly, I came to Keller Williams specifically for the technology. The command platform, when I first got here last year, it's been almost exactly a year. I can't remember if it was rolled out yet or not, but if it was definitely in its infancy. So, I kind of, coming from the smaller place where I had to basically a la carte everything, the kind of one-stop shop of command was very appealing to me. And I kind of, it was a little bit of a leap of faith because, like I said, it wasn't really up and running the way obviously it is now, but I'm kind of glad that I kind of took that chance, because it's literally my personal assistant now. I use it for everything. If I didn't have that, then I'd be all over the place.
That's awesome. Tell me about, have you had any success through campaigns, Facebook ads?
Yeah. I have my first command closing next week. So when all this started, I'm part of lots of Facebook KW groups, command groups, these calls, the Bold Pivot series. And I ran a few ads in, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Lower Westchester, and just Facebook ads, and just, a broker from Corcoran in Manhattan saw it, and her daughter happened to be looking in Connecticut, and she called, and the broker called me one night and wanted me to help her daughter. So, we found something in Richfield pretty quick, and we're closing on Wednesday.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What do you typically put out 1-2 ads a month? How do you typically work it?
I've been averaging maybe 4 or 5 a month. It took a little, it's a little frustrating, right? So, people have said, and it's not untrue, you have to really stroke the Facebook leads a little bit more than you would normal stuff. So it's very easy to get frustrated with them because a lot of it is junk. A lot of it are people that are a year, maybe even 2 out. It kind of makes you wonder. I don't understand why people kind of engage you if they're like 24 months out, but whatever. You build your pipeline that way for sure. But if you look hard enough and you spend the time with it, the people are in there. The closings are in there. So I'm definitely living proof. So.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that a lot of folks, this is not working because they want to spend, a couple of bucks on an ad and hope to convert somebody that same day, and it's a cash buyer who wants to close on Sunday.
That's just not realistic, isn't it?
Right. I mean, you can hit the jackpot, right? but you have to buy the tickets, right? You have to buy the,
Yeah.
you have to play, pay to play, right? And internet leads in general are something that, a lot of folks like yourself understand, and some newer agents say, you know what, this is not working, or it is working, but it is a lot of finesse. It doesn't matter, whether it's Facebook, Google, you have to finesse them. You have to stay on top of them, right? So my last question is, what systems do you use to stay on top and follow up with those leads?
Oh, anything and everything. I'll email, I'll text, I'll call. I my wife sometimes calls me the bad ex-girlfriend. She's like, geez, you won't go away. I'm like, that's kind of what you have to do. And it kind of goes back to, last year when I went to Mega Camp, right? I had been at Keller Williams for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks at that point. And, Gary gets up on stage and he says, within the first hour or two, he said, success is not simultaneous, it's sequential. And I don't know if that's one of his Garyisms or he took that from somebody, but I actually, ever since that day, I have it on my phone as a reminder. It pops up at 10 o'clock in the morning every day. And it kind of reminds me to stay the course and step by step. And that's not to say let people step on your throat and jump over you, but it's important to kind of understand that what you're doing right now may not necessarily reap rewards tomorrow. It may be 6 months from now, it might be 12 months from now, but if you stay the course, it'll work out.
Awesome. I'd love to open up the forum to see if anyone has a specific question for Rudy. I think Rudy's absolutely killing it. So if anybody has a question, comment, complaint against Rudy, a funny story, I got that from Steve Gundel himself. Otherwise, I'm going to hand back to Steve and take it away.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Rudy, thank you so much for your time today. I mean, you're a rock star, bud. I mean, your business is taking off, and I know you run your business on command, right? I mean, everything,
Yes.
You do everything in there, so it's great. You did come for the technology. I remember our first conversation when command was just a baby, and you were just itching to have it really, be full blown and use it, and you're doing it. You're living proof, and it's working. So thank you for sharing with everybody. Cool.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, Adonis, I guess we're ready for Marty.
Cool. Thank you for sharing, Rudy. Rudy, it's always been pleasant interactions with you. You can just tell you're a good guy. So thanks for doing what you do and being with us. Today, Marty's going to go over emailing documents directly to a DocuSign room. This one's kind of cool.
Good afternoon, Kelly Williams, and welcome back to the KW Command 66-Day Challenge 3.0. Today is day 58, and today I want to show you something interesting. It's kind of a shortcut with regards to opportunities, DocuSign, and document upload. So first thing we want to do, imagine a situation where you had already started your listing in Dotloop, and yet that listing hadn't gone under contract. You decided you want to start doing everything in DocuSign, which I certainly appreciate. And so you want to go in and create an opportunity now that you have an offer on one of your listings. So this is kind of a real life scenario that we'll walk through. I'm going to click on opportunities. I'm going to come in, I'm going to actually create the opportunity very quickly. So I'll just click on create. All right, we're going to go through. This is actually going to be a listing. We're just going to choose Donald Duck. You would actually choose your client. Obviously, we would want to make sure that we chose the address. And this is, we're doing one of our former listings that I had. 1635 Orchid Mist. All right, Cypress. Let's just put in an estimated close date, and we can just put March 31st. This is just for example purposes. All right, so this is already active. We're going to go ahead and drop this into negotiations, right? And we're going to assign this opportunity to myself. Okay, so we now have an active opportunity. It's in the sales pipeline, and it's under listings. Okay, I want to go ahead and come into my Documents tab, and I want to pick a checklist type. This is a residential listing for sale. It is not new construction. These are my checklists that my market center has. And so once I've clicked on an actual checklist, I can choose a tab. This is going to be under contract. Okay, I want to click on the drop down next to start a transaction. I want to select DocuSign because I want to connect this transaction to my DocuSign account. Once I do that, it's going to pull me into DocuSign, and it has now created a room for me. Okay, it's now created a room. Now, typically I would go through the details and I'm going to put in all of this information. I'm just going to skip this step for time's sake, but you would want to go through and fill in all of this information on the left-hand side, everything on the right-hand side as well. Once I click on documents, you can see there are no documents within this room. Now, if I had gotten an offer, right, and let's say it came from the buyer's agent and she or he had attached 6 or 7 different documents that had been already signed or executed, etc. We'd gone back and forth and finally have the executed documents. Now I have 2 choices. I can come into my email, I can download each one of those documents to my hard drive and then come back into DocuSign here and upload them. But there is another way, and that's what I wanted to show you today. So the first thing I want you guys to do is click on Inbox. When you click on Inbox here at the top, it's going to tell you what your DocuSign email is. Okay, so here's my DocuSign email. It's marty.miller@mail.docusign.net. Now when I come back to rooms, each one of the rooms that we create within DocuSign has its own room ID. It's actually a number that's associated with that room. So if I come back into this room, you'll see at the top left, there's going to be a hashtag and then a room number, right? So number 306-1930. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And here is the actual offer that I got on this listing. Let's just assume all of these documents have been executed and they're ready to roll. All I have to do to get these documents into that DocuSign room is forward them, right? So I'm going to click on forward. I'm going to send these documents to my DocuSign email, which was marty.miller at, which one was now? I forget. Was it? I think it's mail.docusign.net, but let me just verify. Yep, mail.docusign.net. Okay, so to marty.miller@mail.docusign.net. And then what I want to do is I just want to change the subject. Okay, so I'm going to edit the subject on this, and all I'm going to put in there is actually paste in that hashtag and then the room number. Okay, so I'm sending these documents to marty.miller@mail.docusign.net, and I'm putting hashtag the room number. I'm going to go ahead and click on send. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to DocuSign. I'm going to go back into my room, and it sometimes takes a few seconds, but essentially what's going to start happening is when I come into documents, let's see if it populated, it'll take a minute or two, but these documents that I just got executed from the buyer's agent, or this could be from the listing agent, right? If I was doing a buyer's transaction, whichever, let's just assume that these are all documents that we wanted to load into our DocuSign room. Then we could just load these in. Now, typically, a lot of these documents are already going to be in our room because we're utilizing them for signatures, we're sending them in envelopes, etc. But think about things like your survey, things that you get from title, maybe your closing disclosure or your title commitment, things that you want to make sure are uploaded into your room as well. Think about things that you get from your clients, such as maybe it's the floor plan, maybe it's documents where it's a Word document that they've sent that they want to make sure is brought in. So you put it in a PDF and then you can upload it from there. So anything that's been emailed to you that is a PDF that you want to save a copy of, all you have to do is forward it to your blank or whatever your DocuSign email is at mail.docusign.net, and then put in that room number. And let's give it one more try, and let's see at this time it should. Right, I've given it enough time to start populating. Here you go. Here are all of those documents that I just sent over. I did not have to download them, save them to my hard drive, re-upload them. I just simply forwarded them over, and here they all are. Now here's the cool thing. I can come into Command, right? I'm going to click on Sync Transaction. It's going to say, hey, we're going to sync over the latest information. I'm going to say, yep, I want you to update. Okay, and then we're going to come in and let's say, all right, contract fully executed and dated. I'm going to click on Add a File. I'm going to click on DocuSign, and here's all those documents that I just brought in, right, from that email. And here's the 1 to 4. So I would click on that one, say Assign. All right, next it's going to say, all right, let's seller's disclosure, add a file, DocuSign. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to find the seller's disclosure in my list, and here that is. Click on Assign. and so on and so forth. So you can see how easy it is to get documents from, whoops, don't know what happened there. Sorry guys. Documents from your email into your DocuSign room. And then once in your DocuSign room, I can just bring them into my transaction and boom, I'm done. Right? So it is a super easy way to get those documents. And again, now we're using DocuSign for signatures of a lot of these, but I'm thinking like things that I get from the title company, things that I get from the buyer, from the seller, maybe after the fact, amendments, those types of things, right, that have already been executed and I just want to upload them. I could do that kind of thing as well. So that's a kind of a quick and easy way to utilize, again, where you find it is your inbox here within DocuSign. Anytime you want to send a document into your room, you're just going to send it to this email address and you're going to change the subject line to match the actual room number. So the ID, right? When you're in that room, every room has its own ID and you're just going to change the subject of that email with the documents you want loaded to this ID number and just the number. So it's pound, whatever number sign and then your number. And it'll automatically pull them into the Documents tab. And there you have all of those documents quickly and easily. So that's today's challenge, guys, just making DocuSign a little bit easier, a little bit simpler. I do have one more hack for you tomorrow regarding DocuSign as well. And I'll look forward to showing that to you guys tomorrow. Hope everyone's having a great Super Bowl Sunday, has a great afternoon. Enjoy the game, enjoy the halftime show, enjoy the commercials. And as always, I'll look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. Thanks.
I know I'm enjoying the Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know about you guys. It's my team's doing great. I think I'm going to win my bracket. But
know how it ends. We know how it ends.
We do. So tomorrow he's going to continue with another cool trick. Moving documents from .loop to DocuSign, quick and easy. So got a nice day planned for you today. Take some classes, go get some listings, and we'll talk to you next time.